My name is Dave Poland. I want to welcome you to Portland Film Beat. My guest tonight is an Oregon native and resident his entire life. Greg James has been an actor for over 25 years. Last year, he had broke out with his viral online comedic short, Star Drunk, and we're going to see a little bit about that later. He just wrapped being a co-star for the first pilot season of Tough TV's Combat Report. He has also most recently been seen in Jean-Marc Vallée's movie Wild with Reese Witherspoon. It just opened to theaters with wide release, and we're going to talk quite a bit about that. James, Greg James, you got two first names.
Hey,
it's hard, man.
You can call me Jimmy if you want.
No, we'll call you Greg.
Good to see you.
Okay,
Thanks,
from
Dave.
the movies Star Drunk,
Yeah.
Combat Report, and Wild, which one was your favorite?
Favorite? Well, I think any any actor worth its salt would say any one of those roles would be their
Yeah,
favorite.
they would, yeah.
If you want to continue to getting jobs. But
they're all great jobs.
Well, they are. But what's great about them is they're so versatile. And it's, I've been doing this for a while now, and I've been blessed to be able to do a lot of versatile roles, lots of different roles, and you couldn't get any more versatile.
Right.
The gamut between those three projects.
Right.
So,
all within this last year, right?
yeah, I mean, you've got Star Drunk, which is this crazy, wacky, comedic thing. You've got Combat Report, which is this very serious, very stern, 6-episode, able to really develop my character, co-starring in that show. And then you've got this this job that I had on a major motion picture with an A-list actress, where I was only on set for one day, doing this most surreal thing.
Is it hard for you to believe it still happened?
Yes, yeah. I mean, there isn't.
And then you see it on screen, it's like, oh, it did happen.
It did happen. In fact, it just premiered last week in Portland, and I'm watching on the big screen, and I'm going, really? I mean, I still think, this really happened?
Yeah.
But there really isn't a day that goes by that I don't actually think about that experience, because it was extremely surreal.
Right.
To be with, Reese Witherspoon.
This was a wild sex scene. Let's just let's not break it down. Let's not try and be candy coat this.
Yeah.
How do you prepare for an audition like that when you know in advance what the scene is actually going to be about?
Well, it's funny. I got the email from my agent, as I typically do, Dennis from Option.
Dennis Troutman from
Yeah,
Option Models.
Option.
You can say his name.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure you'd like to
Option
hear
talent, Dennis. Dennis, he's a good guy, and I just recently brought him on as my agent. So when I got the email, okay, all right, great. I look at it, and he says, okay, be completely memorized for this. This is a big deal. This is wild. This is, a big movie. And I pop open, I look at the sides that we were given in order to be prepared for the audition. And what I noticed was there was no lines. So I'm thinking, okay, there's no
Really?
lines. All right, so I'm reading the description, and the description basically says a guy picks up a woman, played by Reese Witherspoon, in a bar, character of Cheryl Strayed in a bar, and then we have wild, frantic love in a hotel room. Right, that's the part. So I have to take this information and then go into the audition and have no idea what to expect. Only thing I did know was they were very clear about the fact that we had to be comfortable with rear and side nudity for the scene.
Okay.
And yet we weren't going to be asked to take off any clothing during the audition.
Okay.
So yeah, so I get to the audition, and I'm sitting there, and I was actually pretty flattered just to be called for the role. All right.
Sure.
But I get in there, and I'm thinking, but I'm looking around at the various other guys that are there, for it. And these are some good-looking guys. They're all around me. So any bravado that I may have had in terms of being able to possibly land this role kind of dissipated in just looking around the room. All right. And then the casting director, Erin at the Cast Iron Studios, she comes out and she says, okay, so she repeats the fact that you have to be comfortable with the nudity and so forth, that there was actually another actor that they had cast for this role. I still don't know who that is. And he actually pulled out of the part, no pun intended. So they were frantically trying to recast this role 2 weeks prior to its shoot date. So go into the audition room, and I didn't know what to expect.
Wow.
I really didn't.
Because you had no lines or anything.
No lines. So I could overhear, though, right before my turn, I understood that they wanted me to improvise a pickup scene.
Did you hear another actor talk about that?
Well, I could kind of sort of hear what they were going
That's
for.
good that you
and
got
I
that.
knew it was set
it's
up.
good that you got that information
Yeah,
in
yeah,
advance.
yeah. And that
actually.
is one, yeah, exactly. And that was one of the scenes prior to us doing the deed in the hotel room. There was actually a pickup scene. So that made kind of some sense. So, but I'm thinking in my mind, like, pickup line. I mean, I've been married for 13 years. I'm a little rusty. So and in fact, I don't even think I ever used a pickup line even then.
Because they're so
Yeah,
smarmy.
you know, crazy. So I'm thinking, okay, what's your star sign? No, you know, I was like, what am I gonna? So so I go in there and I still don't have anything, but then something comes to me, and I'm sitting there, and Jenna Lee Hamlin is the reader, and she's reading, and I'm supposed to be playing opposite of her, and I pick up this magazine, and I'm just there, and I'm just kind of, you know, look up to her, and I'm like, hey, baby. No, no, I was like, I look up and go, hey, I've had a really long and hard day at work, but you're like the best thing I've seen all day.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm just, you know, we have some small talk. She goes, oh, it's so nice to meet you. My name is, oh, I don't want to know your name. I mean, I'm not gonna tell you mine. So, and we just sort of have more small talk. She asked me what I'm reading and books and so forth. And then I end it with the zinger where I just say, I look up and I just go, so, do you have any interest in making my day even longer and harder?
Oh, jeez.
And then she just, yeah. So she went red in the face and she went silent. And I think that's the first time I think Jenna Lee has ever been stumped in terms of being pushed to silence. And the camera turned off. Everyone started laughing. Aaron laughed and everything. I look at her and I said, was that too much?
Obviously not.
No. So anyway, I left the casting, the audition, and I called my wife. I told her about it. I said, that was a really fun audition. I still don't think I mean, this is Reese Witherspoon. I'm still not expecting to get the role. But a few days later, I got the call from Dennis, and he said, he confirmed my willingness to be nude and whether or not I was going to be available that day. And I mean, I told him I'd be willing to, you know, sit outside her trailer in the buff and the freezing cold if it meant being able to do that scene.
Is that right?
So,
yeah. When it gets,
we got to laugh about it.
Yeah, you mentioned your wife. What did she think about you getting to do a sex scene with Reese Witherspoon, where you were naked, but?
No, she's been incredibly supportive.
Okay, so
yeah,
getting to the naked part, you were completely naked except you had your parts covered, or how?
Yeah, well, both of us had our naughty bits, is what they call it in the business. I mean, covered. But other than that, we were completely naked.
So how'd your wife react?
Well, my wife was cool about it because she had actually read the book, and written by Cheryl Strayed Wild, and she loved the book, and she, like many people, she loves Reese Witherspoon, and she knew it was going to be handled in a professional manner.
Good.
And I had done other love scenes in other movies before. Nothing quite to this extent, to be honest, but she knew it was going to be handled professionally, and we have a good marriage, so she wasn't worried about that or threatened or anything. So, I mean, it was hard to say no. I mean, first of all, we didn't expect I'd ever get the part. But once we did, and I was approached to getting the part, it was like, how do you say no to something like this? I mean, this is a big deal, and we don't get movies like this coming around very often in Portland.
No, we don't.
So,
when it came to doing the scene with Reese, did you meet with her prior? Did you rehearse? How did that go?
Well, Reese is this is a multi-million-dollar star. She's an A-list actress. She's probably one of the top actresses of our generation. Right?
Sure.
So, and I thought maybe we'd have coffee or something, though, and be able to talk, at least so she could feel comfortable about the fact that she's going to have her first nude sex scene with somebody. I'm saying the first nude sex, it doesn't matter whether another star or whatever and so forth. She had never done that before. So here I am, some Portland, to her, whatever actor, you know, I'm just a Portland actor, nobody. And I was curious, it's like, how is it, first of all, I got this role, but then how is she going to be comfortable with someone that she has no idea, she has no idea who I am.
Right.
And yet, so I thought maybe we'd connect, maybe talk a little bit just so she could feel comfortable, but it didn't happen. In fact, I didn't even meet Reese until we were doing our scene in the bar where we picked each other up.
Real.
it was extremely real. In fact, when I walked into the bar scene, we did that first. Walked into the bar, which was the Driftwood Inn at the Hotel Deluxe. I'm walking in, and I see a blonde sitting at a couple stools down, and they sit me over to my stool, and I'm like, I can barely look. Did
you have lines prior to the bar scene, or
no lines to prepare for? But I knew there was going to be some ad-libbing going on. They mic'd me, so I knew that there was going to be maybe some dialogue exchanged, but no prepared lines. Jean-Marc is a great director because he likes to keep things really real and take things off the cuff. He uses the script more as a blueprint.
How many times did they shoot it?
Well,
did you shoot it each time with different dialogue, and they picked the one they liked the best?
Kind of. I mean, he'd throw a few little, curveballs at me and so forth. But when we first did it, I looked over, and it was actually her stand-in.
Oh.
It wasn't even Reese. So I'm working on my lines and blocking and so forth with somebody who isn't even Reese Witherspoon. So I'm thinking in my head, as I thought earlier in the day and the week prior, I'm thinking maybe I'm even going to have my sex scene coming up with not even Reese Witherspoon. I mean, they do trickeries, close-ups, and so forth. I had no idea. So this isn't even Reese I'm doing the scene with.
So a lot of this was a surprise to you as it went through the day?
Complete surprise. And the fact is, I think what it is she really went method with this role. And what she wanted to do was, I was a stranger in a bar. And so she wanted me to be a stranger. Cool. And so I literally, we didn't, okay, we did our blocking, some lines with the stand-in. She leaves, Reese comes in. And prior to that, I knew she was extremely nervous. In fact, the bartender, who was playing the bartender extra, was in fact the director's son. Oh. And so I'm sharing a dialogue with him, and he's telling me that Reese is completely nervous about the scene that we have coming up.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, and also the fact of the matter is, he knows his father, the director, needs to make sure that this scene is intense as written in the script. So I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And so when she does finally come in, she's all, professional. She's doing her job. We do our scene, still haven't even introduced. It wasn't until we ran through it a couple times where she was near me, and I finally stuck out my hand and I said, "Hi, we don't even know each other. Yeah. I'm Greg." And she goes, and she's like, "Oh, hi, I'm Reese," and that was it. And that was, we just kept going.
How many people, because there's actually a lot of people on a film set usually.
Yeah.
Maybe because she wanted to be a little more private. Was there a lot of people there, a closed set? How did that work?
Well, when we were in the bar, there was a normal, typical, there was like 20 people there and so forth.
A lot of people don't realize usually in a love scene there's like 20 people around.
But the love scene didn't actually occur in the bar. So then later when we actually did the love scene, we're in the hotel room. And it was a closed set. It's what is called a closed set. So she's got bodyguards outside.
Is that right?
Oh yeah, bodyguards. In fact, the director of photography was out there. It was just Jean-Marc himself, the director, holding handheld the camera.
Oh, he had the camera. It was just him.
Yeah, and a boom operator, a mixer with a boom operator, and then it was just me and Reese, and that was it.
What happened during that scene? I mean, was he up close and?
Well, it's crazy because, I mean, we did...
How many times did you shoot it?
Well, we did undressing, and we did various other things before we actually got naked or disrobed and went for the gusto. But we shot, and when we were doing it, it was all it was very organic. I mean, there was no prepared plan. In fact, I don't even know if Jean-Marc knew.
It probably wouldn't have worked as well if it had been prepared.
I don't think so. I think you're right. Because I don't know what... Again, I think we were just minutes away as to whether or not Reese was even going to do it.
Oh, is that right?
Honestly, I do. Now, granted, I think she totally was prepared to do it, and that's what she wanted to do, but she was scared. Right. And I remember I even went up to her and I was just like, this is really weird.
So it was truly like a one-night stand.
Yeah.
In every sense of the imagination.
Yeah. I mean, this is really
weird. That's
weird.
why you still can't believe you did it.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of screws up your mind. But
all right, here's a question.
Anyway, we did it. But
we've got a lot of the same friends here in town, so I know what they're like.
Yeah.
What kind of smack have you gotten from some of your buddies And I'm telling you, I know who was you. And they're not going to let you sleep on that one.
Well, I have a lot.
I'm sure some of the smack you get when their wives and your wives aren't around is the same.
Well, you know, a lot. I get a lot of smack, and we get a lot of jokes around. I mean, people start throwing out things. Well, did you see Reese's Pieces? And, you know, little jokes. And I don't know. They're crazy, but a lot of times I get a lot of almost like weird, like, oh, you lucky devil, or I can't believe you got to do that,
right.
you know, and everything. And actually, that's the part that I actually don't like, because I don't want to like. I don't want to put myself on any pedestal. I don't want to like
No, that's not you.
rub it in on any
Right.
level. And it wasn't an easy thing to do. And it's a weird thing for me to actually say that to people, where I was like, wow, that was intense. And I remember even afterwards, a few days afterwards, I got really kind of depressed, because it was
right?
such a crazy high, and there was so much adrenaline. And then afterwards, since it was like a one-night stand, I mean, after we were done, it was like, you know, we're totally separate from each other. And it's not like I can just call Reese on the phone and say, hey, was it cool? Are you
Not
good?
unless you want a bodyguard calling you back, right?
Whereas normally, if you have an actress, you know, you can at least have coffee with her afterwards, make sure she's okay and whatnot. But anyway.
Let's change gears here.
Yeah.
How'd you get connected with the TV show Combat Report?
Combat Report, World War II TV series,
Yeah.
shot here locally. Most of
Tell
it.
us about the character in that too a little bit, if you can.
Yeah, I will. Well, Thad Smith is the producer and the main director. He was also wrote the episode, many of the episodes, and my character in it. Well, it revolves around mostly a character. His name is Dax. And he's brought in to do a special unit. He's a command combat team in World War II to do these special missions. This is before the Green Berets. This is before a lot of that type of thing. So they brought these special units in. Well, what I'm in charge of doing is I'm the captain of this regime, where I am basically his captain. But we have history.
Right.
And you'll find that out in the series, is that we have history and we don't like each other very much.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So I play a very villainous character in that.
Well, that's kind of a switch. It's probably fun, huh?
Yeah, it's always fun to play kind of a villain.
Right.
But it's also very cerebral too. So I had to be very still, very stiff, which is very much like what I normally, what I hadn't been doing prior, which doing these zany. I just come off doing these zany drunk movies.
We're going to get into a zany drunk person.
Drunk movies, yeah.
Sorry. We're going to take a moment right now and actually watch a little clip from a zany thing called Star Drunk. A lot of Portland actors in it. It was really fun. I'll let him talk about it afterwards, but let's watch the clip first.
Yes, yeah.
On my mark, hit warp 9.
Sir, we can't handle any more jumps. She'll fall apart.
Ah, shut your mouth, Private. You got your orders. Now warp!
Danger! Danger! Captain! We have multiple enemy contacts!
Captain, their weapons are hot.
Action stations, prepare for impact.
They're all around us. I count 4. No, 5 enemy frigates. Sir, they're not firing.
Sir, I'm receiving an incoming transmission.
Let's see it on the holoscreen. Let's see what kind of mess we warped into.
Oh, what a day. We should go home. We're drunk.
Okay, that was a lot of fun, man. And the interesting part is you were really
Drunk, wasted, gone. It's funny because, well, let's talk about the concept though, because that's really important.
I was going to say the
'cause
concept is one of my questions.
Yeah, Star Drunk was never meant to be anything but a train wreck, because it was all built on the concept of these guys all got together, 6 writers, and they said whatever they got really drunk themselves, and they said whatever we write, this script, we're going to produce it, and we're going to produce it with drunk actors. And so I got a call one day from Chris Wilson,
Chris.
who was the director
Was
and
Chris
the
Wilson,
creator.
Was it Tim? Who else was involved?
Zach Pearson was
Zach
the other
Pearson.
director, and there were a bunch of other people. And then Phil Anderson, he shot it, and then there were other actors in it along with me. You know, you saw them: Britt Harris, Bethany Jacobs, Adam, and Frazier, and Kyle Smith. Anyway, we were all in there. So he called me and he said, you know, I've got this script. I want you to be a captain of a starship. And I'm like, great, let's do it. And he's like, well, here's the catch, though. You got to be drunk while you do it. I go, okay, great, let's do it. That was really interesting, but I didn't realize how drunk, I guess, until we actually did it. Real drunk, to the point where you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
We had memorized the lines completely, and I knew what my character was.
Anyway?
Yeah, we rehearsed it and everything. And so once we were drunk, we're doing it mostly by muscle memory, right?
Yeah.
And so at that point, we're being fed the lines that we already we knew when we weren't drunk. So, but they're feeding us line, telling us where to look. Got a blue screen behind me because later on they're putting in post this amazing computer graphics to make it look like.
We saw
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Yeah, you saw.
But I want you to take a second. Tell the people out there where they can actually go watch Star Drunk, because there's a lot of people who haven't seen it, even though 1.5 million have.
If you want to see the full version of Star Drunk, just get on YouTube and type in Star Drunk. It's that easy.
Right.
So,
Okay, keep going. Sorry.
Anyway, so we were extremely drunk. I mean, I had about 12 to 13 shots of vodka.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Cheap vodka or the good stuff?
No, it was good stuff. It was done by a local distillery called New Deal. Although this particular vodka was infused with jalapeno.
Oh my God!
And we were taking straight shots. I couldn't believe what we were doing. But by the time you get to like the 10th shot of vodka, it doesn't really matter. You know, you've become numb to whatever you put in your body. So then we take these shots, and we were drunk, and then they'd wait a little bit, and then you'd get basically rolled out onto set, and they'd shoot us individually. I was one of the last to go, and unfortunately, I started drinking a little too early. So
but for that show, you couldn't be drunk enough, couldn't you?
Yeah, but you can get so drunk. I actually passed out the first time we shot it.
Oh, really?
I passed out. So I had to come back 2 days later, get drunk all over again.
Oh my God!
And do it because I drank too early. But anyway,
There's a number of other drunk shows in the works.
Yes.
Can you talk about those?
Yeah. We've
tell
got.
us how many or what's the
Well, we've
thing?
already shot Dead Drunk, which is going to be kind of a zombie spoof, right? We just shot Love Drunk, which is going to be like a romantic comedy. It's going to be very funny. I'm in that one as well. We're about to do Dread Drunk, which is going to be kind of a creature movie, The Thing kind of deal.
Right.
I'm going to be in that one too. And then we've got Super Drunk, which I'm slated to be in that one too, which is a lot of fun. So, and that's going to be more like a superhero movie. So I'm really excited about those coming up.
Do you ever feel like giving up?
Do I ever feel? You know, I don't ever feel like giving up. I've never gotten so frustrated where I feel like giving up. Now, what I have done though is I've taken some time off.
Okay.
In fact, it was about a 6-year period between 2005 to 2010, 2011, where my kid was born, my first,
You got
my
to take
boy.
time off for that.
Yeah,
That's important.
He
It
was
only
born.
happens, you know.
Yeah.
When the time's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, and I wanted to be a dad, just focus family and do that. And I also wanted to, I was working the corporate lifestyle at Nike for about 7 years. And I wanted to switch gears and start my own production company. You know, this Blue Couch
Media.
Blue Couch Media thing. And
Well, tell us about that then.
well, we do commercial work mostly, and we also do short films and whatnot to kind of spread our creativity. But we do mostly commercial work to pay the bills, and we also do graphic design, logo, branding.
if somebody wants to get a commercial made,
Yeah.
they can contact you at Blue.
Absolutely.
The Blue Couch Media. I think Ellery's been putting up the subtitle up there of
Yeah.
your email, and they should contact you.
They should.
They actually should go and look at your website too,
Yeah, bluecouchmedia.com.
and look at because you've got trailers and stuff like of some of the work you've done there.
Yeah, we've got work just like a lot of companies would. We have a portfolio of work there that people can check out. But what's great about us is, I work with me and my cousin Jason Chrisman, who's my cousin. So I've known him basically all my life. But he's an amazing graphic designer, and I focus more on kind of the live action aspects, although we do delve into both worlds.
Okay.
And then we get production companies around on a case-by-case basis. Right. But we're extremely resourceful. I've been doing this for many years in front of and behind the camera.
Right.
So, and that's actually helped me as an actor.
Oh, yeah.
To be able to focus all that time behind the camera has helped me to know what it's like in front of the camera. So it's giving me empathy,
One of my questions was, what kind of film genre you like the most? It seems like you've got a real diverse background. You've done a whole lot of stuff. We were actually going to be in a film together, and something happened.
It'll happen.
What is your favorite type of film genre?
I actually, what's great about, and I'm going to use music for example. What's great about the Beatles, right? Is they can be so simple, but yet so brilliant, because you feel like when you listen to the music, you felt like you've heard it before, and that's the best kind of art, I believe, is one that feels like you've been here. But they also do an incredible job of doing various changes throughout their songs.
Right.
Same thing with movies, and that's what I love about movies, that can actually take you to almost different worlds within the film. So I like the movies that can be dramatic and funny at the same time.
Humorous at the same time.
And you take a movie like Life is Beautiful, for example. It's a very foreign film, Roberto Benigni, and so I just feel like, if you can do a movie that can hit both those points of comedy and pathos, it's pretty awesome.
Okay, great. One last question. We got to run out of time here, so you got to hurry up and answer this.
All
Where do you
right.
have to see yourself in 5 years?
5 years.
You got 10 seconds.
Well, I'm gonna make a feature film myself.
Are you gonna write
I'm gonna
it?
direct it. I'm gonna write it and direct it, and I'm gonna make it happen.
Okay, cool. We're running out of time here at Portland Film Beat, and I want to thank you for joining us. I have to thank my wife, who's the producer. I want to thank Ellery, who's our director, Sue and Phil, who are our assistant directors, and Christo, who does so much to help make certain all of this happens. Until next time on Portland Film Beat, shoot for the silver screen.